Hey, this is Danger Man, and I'm here with one of my respected heroes in writing. I said writing, I didn't say drawing, I didn't say anything about comics, I said writing, because that's where I'm coming from, you know that. And this is Joe Kelly. Now, if you're not familiar with Joe Kelly, he is one of the gentlemen who made Deadpool what he is today. And so I would ask you, when you entered the picture for Deadpool, he wasn't who he was. You created that humor. Did that humor come from you? Is that part of your life?
Sure. I mean, I was very lucky to get the job. Matt Idelson was at the time, and there had been a couple of the miniseries that came before, and obviously the appearances in New Mutants and the other books. So I was familiar with the character, but not super familiar. And I guess a lot of the pitches they were getting were really focused on Deadpool as killer and Deadpool as badass.
So did somebody come to you and say, hey, you know what, take him in a new direction? Or did you say, you know what, I'm taking him in a new direction?
Yeah, they just asked me, what would you like? And then I sort of went with the humor stuff. Because I got the sense that he was funny. And early on, and Rob has said this, that they sort of wanted a Spider-Man with guns. And to me, Spider-Man was always funny.
Yeah, he's got the mouth, right?
Yeah. But that's how I took him. And then, but for me, it was always humor with this underpinning of the tragedy of a guy who wants to do well.
I wanted to make that clear. As I was reading your storyline, as it came through, I was like, he's serious on the back end.
Yeah.
And no one wants to, and he hides that seriousness through his humor.
Right.
Now, was that your plan, or am I just stumbling onto the truth?
No. It always was my plan. Like, I would always describe Deadpool as somebody who was constitutionally incapable of doing good, even though he wanted to. Right. And when he would, the universe would kick him in the nuts. Like, that was always his operating.
So he certainly didn't shoot himself in the foot on purpose.
No, I mean, he would. I mean, he'd have all sorts of flaws, and there would be times where he self-sabotage. But then even when he was doing the right thing, then somehow the universe would screw him over, which, makes for, you like to torture your main characters, and he's an easy guy to do.
Who do you who's your favorite humor in Deadpool? Who's in a way, outside of yourself, but you really like their humor, the way they apply to it?
I like, Jerry Duggan's run I really like, and it's in part, I just think he gets character, I like what he's doing. I didn't read a lot of the stuff in between, not for any I wouldn't go back. It just after I stopped working on a character, generally I'm moving forward and working on something else. I've always liked Gail Simone as a writer, so I think she's funny.
Yes.
I know she's funny. So her Deadpool stuff is great. So yeah, Gail and Jerry probably.
She's sinister funny.
Yes.
I mean, you gotta understand where she's coming from, or else you miss the boat.
Yeah, Gail's awesome, and so yeah, I would probably pick the two.
Now, the Arthur, is that yours?
I don't think the B. Arthur thing. It's so funny because that my original run now is 15. I mean, it's 97, right? So I mean,
but it stands up.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that. But so obviously the pop culture references, or whatever. And I don't think the B. Arthur thing was fine. I feel like that was somebody else. But there's a lot of things I don't remember though. It's actually the internet has reinformed me about my own run.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like I'm not sure if you're familiar with this term. I throw it out there. I'm surprised that people in great places have never heard of it. Maybe I'm wrong, and I've heard it wrong. But tell me if you know the answer to this. Good art is borrowed. Great art is steal.
Oh, I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard that.
Do you know who's applied to have said that?
I thought it was Picasso.
Very good. So that was thrown at me, and ever since then I've thought, well, wait a minute, if we're all churning, borrowing our ideas and leveraging other people's ideas. One musician hears a song and goes, you know what, I like that song, but I hear something else, and I'm going to write my own song. It won't sound anything like that. Is that how it is in terms of how you hand off characters and books? I mean, let's say when you finish, you're the caretaker of Deadpool. Right. When you're done, somebody else becomes the caretaker. I said that to Fabian earlier. He didn't quite disagree with me on the caretaker, but that's my term. So what do you think? I mean, when somebody else is handed off, what do you make of that?
Well, I just know for what I do. I mean, when I inherit, if I inherit a character like I inherited Deadpool, I try to look to the DNA, what makes this character an individual, and then I go, what can I bring to that character? So for me, that darker underpinning, the humor, the sort of tragedy of somebody trying to find their way and not really doing such a hot job, those are all attractive to me. And as long as I haven't undone stuff that's come before with any kind of malicious intent. Sometimes you get like editorial dictates and you have to just go along with it. But my job is to bring the best of myself to a character that's already been built. So, like same with Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite character growing up.
Didn't we all kind of grow up with him, and and then everybody else kind of lived in his shadow in some way?
Well, maybe he's actually a bad example because I feel like I know Spidey so well that he's easier for me to go with Superman. When I was offered the Superman job, they said, "What do you know about Superman comics?" I said, "I read a couple, but primarily I know from the movies." And they were like, "Great, that's fine." And I got to write Clark Kent, who was like a young married Clark Kent, and I was recently married. That was sort of, even though they had been married already for a while.
Do you think you needed that perspective to write him right?
It made my run stand out from the other guys because they certainly went 4 or 5 months going at a time, and everybody had a different take on Superman. So for me, it was focusing on like the man.
When someone does become the caretaker, do they take into consideration? Because what I got from my only other serious conversation with somebody I've read is that there's a professionalism that's taken on by the writers and the drawers, and we at ground level, the readers, we make a lot of noise. We want you to take care of our characters. We don't want you to change. The social justice warriors step in and they do their thing. But I mean, who are you taking into consideration, or are you just simply going, here's the editor's mandate. And I have this great story. I'm going to fit that in, and we'll see where it goes. Or do you feel like there's so many other parts of the economy you have to take into consideration when you get that character?
I try with comics specifically. I feel like I'm very lucky in that if you have a good editor, they're guiding you to the story you want to tell.
Okay.
And I tend to always start from what I'm my own audience, right? And I assume that if I like it, somebody else is going to like it. Well, for me, it's the only way to write because I've done the other way. Like I used to go online and look at the comments and all that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden I realized, like, well, if I'm going to do that, then I have to weigh the good and the bad equally, and then I go down the bad path, and I cannot make all these people happy because they're holding on to something that's maybe 10 years old or whatever. I can only do what I can do. So I hope that, and that's when you have a good collaboration with an editor and an artist, you bring out the best version of the character you can do, and then the market bears out. Like either people go, well, we don't like this, and then they fire you, or you stay on a book for 3 years.
I guess your feedback at your level is the people who might have sent an angry tweet might put a video up like the gentleman from Comics Explained, which I happen to respect him. But I think he's getting a little bit of grief for that. He's just trying to critique the Marvel Universe on behalf of everyone else. And I like that. I like the fact that somebody's trying to bring a voice to so that Marvel can hear us. But without dwelling on that too far, I feel like when I am writing a story as nobody right now, the feedback I get from somebody, I take and I say, you know what? I didn't write an ebb and a flow.
Right.
But yes, and that's the feedback I want to take. But if they disagree with the characteristic of the description or the way I want to write the story, then I say, you know what, no, this is my story, my audience will find me. Is that the right way that somebody should approach this?
Oh, I think so. I mean, you have to be aware of who you're writing for, right? And it also depends, are you working for hire or are you doing it on your own? If you're doing it on your own, the only thing that matters is first yourself and then a trusted circle, right? So you get the trusted circle and those people are going to give you honest feedback about your writing, and what you're really looking to do is what I wanted to communicate and communicate. That's really all you want from those people. It doesn't matter if it's like you want it to be blue and they wanted it to be red. Who cares? My intent was to give you this type of story. They go, yeah, I got that type of story. If they didn't love it, that's okay. If you liked it, because somebody out there is going to be the person. Just did you communicate it properly? That's what matters. I don't find that a lot of the stuff that comes through on the internet is people who want to do it their way and might be holding on to something that doesn't exist anymore.
And I think we all have that fault of holding on to the past. Yeah. And I'm a conservative. In the world of artists, most of them are liberals. And they're going to push us conservatives forward, whether we like it or not. I mean, that's just life. And we're going to be dead in 50 years, and whatever changes are going to come along are going to change things, and everybody's going to be happy. They're not going to care that somebody else held on to the past. And in that manner, I feel like right now there's that social justice warrior thing. Well, you know what? Maybe we should pause here and make this a part 2 because we're running long. Joe, do you mind if I hold you over for a part 2?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to break here, and we're going to get to a part 2 in just a moment.
It's too much for any man.